Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan. We have day 3 of the Overwatch League playoffs, and I'm here to give my day 3 recap. Some of these matches, we had some spicy ones. We had some ones, nothing like super crazy like yesterday, but some pretty good matches. We had some eliminations. These teams are gone. If you lost, you're over. It's done and done. Done and dusted. So starting off, Philadelphia Fusion against the LA Gladiators. Gladiators take a 3-1, but Philly take a 2-0 on Oasis, followed by a 3-2 on Kings Row from Glads, 3-2 on Route 66, and a 1-0 on Esperanza, and that would be a let me see if I can find the number. It's a 42-45 for Glads. They actually complete the map. The first Esperanza cap that we have. The Dallas Fuel pushed very far yesterday, but did not actually win in the end there. So, important things to note for the Philly Fusion. Zest is here. We have Zest. Zest is good to go. We said, you know what, Carpe, not worth it, even though Zest probably got less scrim time, probably is a bit injured still. Just run it. And they look better for it. They played super hyper aggressive, and it definitely caught the Glads off guard, but as the series went on and on, it went more and more in the Glads' favor. They ended up being able to absorb the aggression and come back with it really strong, and it worked out. But that first map was just Philly all day. They were spawn camping. They were going in. Reiner was dying off cooldown. Shu was perma-dead. It was looking really good for Philly. And honestly, I thought the Glad season was going to be written off. Off this first map, I thought it's done and dusted. The LA Gladiators are out first. I thought it was going to be true. But they're not, because they got it better. Now, Reiner was still just making some really odd plays, jumping into 6 and just dying. Sometimes he'd just be on the corner. He just dies. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if Shu's not healing him, if Kevster isn't with him. I don't know what was going on there. Oh yeah, Kevster is on the Reaper the entire time, by the way. Before yesterday, they were flip-flopping between Happy and Kevster on the Reaper guy, on the Sojourn guy, and it felt like they really wanted to force Kevster into that carry role, into that Sojourn. But to me, Happy was just clearly a better Sojourn, and I'm really happy that they decided to run with Kevster on the Reaper, because you had to pick a side, you had to pick one. Didn't really matter which. You just had to pick something. You couldn't flip-flop around. And it worked out. So happy for the Glads for that. It is fitting that they, end up winning, because they kind of had to. It'd be pretty bad for the Glads to go out first. It would be. And Philly, while they're a good team, the LA Gladiators, man, they can't go out first. They're the Gladiators. But some other important things. Shu on the Sojourn, or not the Sojourn. No, he's not on Sojourn. Shu on the Kiriko kind of got outplayed by Imgod, which is not something you'd expect to hear in 2022. But Shu Sojourn, or I don't know why I keep saying that. Shu on the Kiriko was just not doing it for me. But yeah, Philly only had one mode. It was just aggression. Glads figured it out. Kind of worked out. There were still some really weird rotations that they would do. They don't look perfect, but they looked better. They looked like they had a better idea of what they wanted to do after a day. And I don't know if they're super scary, but tomorrow, whenever they end up facing the next team that they play, which, well, is the team that I'm going to talk about next, it'll be great. It'll be good for them. I play the match. I'm going to go to Kevster. I thought that he was the main reason they were able to adapt to the aggression that the Philadelphia Fusion were able to put out on the Reaper. And, yeah, it's just going to be Kevster. So now, Shanghai Dragons against the San Francisco Shock. 3-1 for the Shock. This is who the Gladiators are playing. It's going to be Glads vs. Shock tomorrow. Some people saw this coming up in the upper bracket, maybe. Some people spreaded this somewhere, somehow. I'd say in a lot of people's brackets, these teams met. Not in mine. I had Shock going up first, and they didn't. So, good for them. But, 3-1 for the Shock. They do a 2-1 on Li Zhang with Mikey in, and then it's Kalush the rest of the way with a 2-1 on Ike for Shanghai. Then a 3-2 Circuit for Shock, and a 1-0 Esperanza for Shock, which was a 92-63. So that's pretty good. Like that's not roll, but it's definitely not super close. So here's the thing about Shanghai and Shock. Mikey actually looked really good to start. I'll give him credit. I'm a Mikey hater, but he looked good to start. And I don't know why he comes in for the first map. I don't know if Kalush just sat down and he said, "I'm not playing Koth," or whatever the hell Kalush would say. I'm not playing Koth, whatever he would say. So I don't know if this meant to map 5. Is Mikey coming in? I'd hope not, because Kalush just got you there. So no clue what's going on there. But Proper was alive and well. He looked better on the Sojourn than he did the day previous. Violet was kind of feeding. I'm not going to lie. He was kind of dead on cooldown a lot throughout this entire series. Violet was dead, but you know what else? So was Liege Gun. Both of them did not have a great series. Both of them were dead a lot, especially on Esperanza. Liege Gun did not have a great time. And I didn't really feel like Violet was mispositioning or anything. It's just that you're playing against Lip. You're playing against Lip. It's just that's just how it is. Lip is super good, and he is the reason they dominated Eichenwald. Lip was the guy. He controlled the entire pacing of the game the entire time on Eichenwald. You'd have, and they would just let him cook. You'd get Shock just pushing on the low ground, pushing the cart through the castle, around the castle technically, and Shanghai were perfectly fine to let them do that. Just wait for the ults to go down, let Lip cook up a bit. He'd pop overclock. Kaluj would go, oh, why does it say Mikey? I swear Kaluj was in. Yeah, okay, this was just wrong, because I guarantee you Mikey was not pulling up on Sigma, so this screen is just wrong. But, there he is. He's down here. He played before that. So anyway, Kaluj would just primal him, but eventually the primal goes away. Kaluj isn't the kind of Winston that can just shut down Lip all by himself. Luckily for him, Fleta was still not very great on the Reaper. But Lip is too good to shut down alone. And Eichenwald, he controlled the entire pacing of the game. And eventually it led to the Shanghai spawn camping. It looked like a damn close series. But this pick of Circle Royale of Shock was absolutely perfect. Because they got to play the Sigma comp that they enjoy. Because Kaluj has the best Sigma stats in the league. Arguably the best Sigma in the league by the eye test, by anything like that. He's very good at it. And Shanghai just continued to run their Winston stuff. And it was a little bit whatever on the defense. Or on the... What was it? On the offense. But eventually they were able to figure it out. It was all chilling. And no, on the defense it was especially it was whatever. But on the offense that came through, Shanghai just died. Like it looked like they didn't know what they wanted. They kind of wanted to let Lip cook, but that's exactly what the Shock comp wants because they have Kilo in now and they have the double sniper. So if you let the double sniper cook versus Lip, the double sniper will win. And Fate just kind of died. It looked like they didn't know how to play against it, and they just kind of lost to it really badly. And then you go to Esperanza. It just kind of ends up working out. Proper's playing well. I'm not going quite toe-to-toe with Lip. I'd say Lip still was looking good, but with the whole team combined, the rest of the team all factored in, Shock just were the better team by a bit there. It's just Lip versus the world. Like, once Lip died, the fight was over. If Lip killed everyone, good job. Good job, Shanghai Dragons. But... it's like the Shy effect, only with Shanghai. No one else really felt like they were there. And so Shock take the win. My player of the match is going to go to Proper just because he did go toe-to-toe with Lip. I don't know, like individually, a lot of these players did fine. But as a team is where they really shined. And I'm just going to give it to Proper because you know what? He's Proper. He was right there. Wasn't dominating like Lip. I could give it to Lip. No, I could give it to Lip still, but I won't. And anyway... so we have Shock vs. Glads tomorrow. Very interesting. Next up, Atlanta Rain vs. Florida Mayhem, the repeat run. You know what's different now? Atlanta take a map, and they play Gator. We get Gator gameplay. So it starts off 2-0 Ilios for the Rain with Gator, but then it's a 1-0 Ike for Florida, 2-1 on Root, and a 1-0 on Esperanza. And this was I'm going to check what this was. It was a 140-58 for Florida here on Esperanza. So Gator comes through. What does that mean? I felt like Florida weren't really prepped for Gator. It felt like they were very much prepped for Hawk. And whenever Gator comes out, maybe their game plan revolved around, focusing down Hawk because he didn't look super confident on the Winston, right? So then Gator comes out, he's a bit more comfortable. He did look a bit rusty. His primals weren't great. There was a time on Ike where he straight up primal checkmate and lost him into his team, and he just killed everyone. And I have no clue what was running through his mind there. But he didn't look great, but I mean, that's to be expected. He's played one match the entire season, and he lost it to London, I think. I can't remember another time he played. So, no, like, Gator did what he could. It's kind of like shame on Rain for not just playing Gator in a Winston meta. Like, I understand what you're doing with Hawk, but you need to win now. This is what the season is for, right? If the whole season you're like, oh, we'll just make Hawk our tank, then the whole point of doing that was to make him ready for the postseason. If he wasn't ready for the postseason to play Winston full time, then like they're not practicing for anything else. This is what you're practicing for. This is what the whole season's for. Just play Gator. You should have worked that out originally. You should have just had Gator in if you were going to play Gator when it really mattered, right? And Nero says after he played one scrim block before playoffs on Reaper. They were just committed to Speedily probably. And then they play Nero and they're like, oh, Nero's better. We'll do that. How do you mess that up? Like, I understand you don't have a lot of time to really figure out what you want to do, but Nero should have been properly trialed on the Reaper before you actually go into this. Like, am I crazy for that? I don't get it. Like, it's like Rain weren't prepared and they weren't running what like they needed to run. Just think for a moment. Just think. I don't get it. Whatever. But after they figure out, after this original app, Eichenwald's 1-0. Glad's just like, Glad's. Rain just like did nothing on this Ike. Just like nothing happened. Hydron was going crazy. Kai was hitting some shots, but it's Kai against Hydron, right? Hydron, the kind of playmaker. He will make the play to get in position to hit the shots. Kai, just a bro that sits back and if he can find a shot, he'll hit it. Hydron makes the shot happen. It's just like Kai. It's been Kai the entire season. He's not going to change that up. That's how he is as a player. It's not a bad play style. It doesn't work if the rest of your team's not doing it. And this team was not doing it, let me tell you. And then Checkmate, best game of his playoff so far. The Reaper play was fantastic. It was better than Nero's. Again, Nero only had one block of scrims. Like, of course, Checkmate's going to be better. I guarantee you, this Florida team, the only players that wouldn't have gotten playtime maybe the whole time is Animo Sermajed. Maybe they tried Rupel out. Maybe they tried. No, they said they didn't try Rupel out because he played his first time on Kiriko on the team in their first match on that first map. So no, they just knew what they wanted to do. They were off rip. They were literally preparation diff. It just makes me a little upset because it's like Atlanta, you're supposed to be a good team, right? I know it's not your meta, but this was not good. This was not good. Just not good. And then Florida just kind of take the map and just run with it from there. Route 66 was a struggle to get through A. They almost got full held. Florida took a bit, but it was just Florida. Like, this is the exact same match as before, but with Gator. I don't want to talk about too much about it, but I've gone on enough already. Let's get to the real banger of a match here. The Toronto Defiant against the Hangzhou Spark. I got the other half for this. Don't you worry, team. Don't you worry. I need a haircut. Don't worry about that. Boom. Hat on. Hangzhou Spark 3-2. The Toronto hat's over there. It'll stay over there because they are gone. They're gone. Done. Done and dusted. Out first. Goodbye. 3-2 win for the Spark. They start off. Oasis 2-0 for the Spark. Paraiso 3-2 for Defiant. Route 66 3-2 for the Spark. Esperanza 1-0 for Defiant, but that 1-0 is actually a 81-74. That was a close match. That was a close map, rather. And then Lijiang Tower 2-0 for the Spark. This was a match that I didn't expect to be a banger. Nobody expected to be a banger. Toronto made some really good adaptations between games. Some really great stuff. Spark made some too, but they weren't as good, and they were actually bad, I would say. So starting off, important things to know for Toronto. Hisu's on the Reaper. Finale's on the Sojourn. Now, Finale is not a Sojourn player. It's been Hisu all year, all season on the Sojourn. Finale breaks it out, and you know what? He goes toe-to-toe with Shy, and he looks pretty good. Of course, he's not Shy. Shy definitely carries more often, but, right? Finale actually did good. Full props to Finale. He made it competitive. There were moments where he actually was able to do work. Another thing you'll notice, big man Hoppa on the Winston. Okay, here's the thing about Hoppa's Winston. Mechanically, is it as good as Muse individually? No. As a team, did Toronto look better? Yes. Now, do you want to say that's mostly because Hisu was on the Reaper? Do you want to say anything like that? Because Hisu on the Reaper carried way harder than they did on the Sojourn previously. And that's not need to be on. He carried way harder than he did on the Sojourn previously. And Finale looked better as well. So, those two players both look better. Hoppa gets to play some Winston, so he probably gets more space because Hisu's a better Reaper. And it just kind of works out. Other thing you'll notice, Pineapple's in instead of Alpha Yi. This one surprised me, and it shocked me, because I thought Alpha Yi played pretty good in his two matches. Yeah, they lost to Dallas, but it wasn't like a bad loss. It wasn't horrible. There was still some hope there. You still have Shy, right? And then Pineapple comes out on the Reaper. Now, what happens? Map 5, we get Alpha Yi back in. And it's noticeable. It was a noticeable difference. Immediately, Hisu was less effective, so maybe Alpha Yi is more of a Reaper targeter, or something like that. Whatever Alpha Yi's playstyle was, he was finding more immediate value right away. But this series was a brawl fest. It was super scrappy the whole way through. Hoppa was doing his best to take out Shy, but he's just not a Winston player, man. He's just not. He probably doesn't have that much practice on it either. And it's like, there were times where he'd jump at Shy, and he'd just die. Like, he just shouldn't have made that jump. You jumped in, you don't have bubble. Like it was just so weird. And his primals were not fight winning, but there were times where he was able to, somehow find a way to juggle Shy, what looked like a juggle onto Shy, and he was able to get the kill. And then Toronto would push through. Like he was doing what he could. You know what? He was doing what he could. And when you're trying to shut down Shy, the best Sojourn player in the league. I'll say it right now. At least the best Sojourn player left in the playoffs. Lip was his competition. It's hard. It's hard. There's not many players that can do it. The only Winstons I think that could shut down Shy left are someone who Spark are playing next. Smurf and Fearless, probably. I can't think of any other Winston that will be able to do that. Hottie, maybe Hottie. We'll see. Shy's him. This whole way through, you're thinking Shy is him. He is the linchpin of this whole thing. If you shut down Shy, you probably shut down Spark. This is not new information. However, what is new information? Teru hard gap Twilight, extremely hard. Route 66. The stats. Teru had 8k damage, 9 final blows. Twilight had 4k damage, 0 final blows. 0. Like, Teru was absolutely his playstyle of Kiriko. If he finds value, he finds it big time. It's massive. And it came out clutch in Route 66. There were times where I felt like he wasn't getting the same value. There were times on Paraiso. There's only a few times I can think of that he really got some good big picks. And then it doesn't get as much value. And Twilight suddenly, his more safe playstyle probably finds more value. Of course, there's the high ground stuff on Paraiso, all that. It took Shy a while. On maps like Paraiso, not Route 66, Paraiso and like Dorado, where you're attacking these high grounds that are really hard to find really solid positioning for your Sojourn to find a shot, Spark will struggle. We saw that. Dorado against Dallas, Shy struggled to capitalize. Paraiso took forever to get some really good angles to get Shy to capitalize on how accurate he is. But damn, this was a good series. Esperanza, especially, this map came down to the wire, came down to huge plays. Hisu finding just plays out of his ass, out of nowhere. There was a Kiriko ult. Hisu was there. He was getting big value with it. He was popping off. Pineapple, not as big, and that's why you saw Alpha U come in. They just said, you know what, we have to go back. We have to go back, and I suspect Alpha U will be back for the rest of the playoffs whenever they play Florida tomorrow, which will be a banger. A final thing I want to say before this match ends off: Gushue was a big difference maker as well. Obviously, big Winston matchup there. Gushue is just better. His primals find more value. So even if like both teams have 5 ults, because Shy is better than Finale, and because Gushue is better than Hoppa, it's actually better for the Spark. There were times where it's like, oh, Toronto just have a primal. Is that going to be enough? Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was. For Spark, it's like, oh, the only ult on the board is Gushue's primal. You know they're going to win that fight because he's that good at it. Like, Gushue is at peak form, World Cup 20, whatever the hell season it was. Gushue is looking damn good. Big threat. Of course, my player of the match is going to go to Shy. He's just better. My player of the match for Florida was Checkmate. I don't know if I said that or not. I forget. But yeah. So before I end this video off, Preds for tomorrow. First match is Glad's Shock. I think Gladiators have this one. Now, there are some things they need to figure out. They need to figure out why Reiner just kind of dies sometimes, things like that. But I feel like this should be a 3-2 for Glads. It's hard, but maybe even 3-1. Yeah, I'll go with a 3-1 for Glads. Shock looked good at times, like as a team, but Funny Astro should just be better than Violet. I like Glads. I have to do 3-1 Glads. Then you have Florida Spark. This one is hard as well. Florida are probably a more well-rounded team. But I think if they don't do that pineapple experiment, Spark probably close that out a bit better. I'm going to go with Spark again. I think the momentum's there. Shy versus Hydron's going to be a really good matchup. I'm going to give that to Shy, of course, because I think I'll give that to Shy in every single game. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 3-2 for Spark here. And then we go up to upper bracket. Dallas Seoul, this is the banger to watch. Make sure you watch this tomorrow, or at least watch highlights. Watch anything you can of this match. This is probably a good chance this is what you're looking at for the grand finals. I'm leaning towards Dallas right now. I think they play a more complete game. I think we've seen more different styles and more different pacings from Dallas that make me think they have a better understanding of the meta. I'll go with a 3. I kind of want to go with a 3. Oh, for Dallas almost. I don't know if that's true. It's a bold prediction. I'll go with the 3-0 for Dallas. Houston, London to see who takes third. Because, I mean, maybe they make final. I think London's just better here. I'm going to go with the 3. I'll go with the 3-0 for London, too. I just don't have faith in Houston still. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, 20-minute video. My bad. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe. All that stuff. Subscribe if you really liked it. Thank you so much. Deuces.